Welcome to Thoughtful Thursdays. Today we have the honor and pleasure to be joined by Dr. Vivian. She's a pediatrician, which means a doctor for children. And welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here. My pleasure.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, wonderful. So we wanted to talk to you about when the children go back to school. Because the way I see it, when children go back to school, they start meeting each other again. And they all come from different households, which have different bacteria and viruses. And that's all going to be in the classroom together. So is this a challenge for their health?
Definitely. And this is probably a big thing for the parents as well, because one of the most common questions I get asked is, why are my kids getting sick all the time? Like literally they were sick last week and then they're better for 2 days and get sick again. And we always try to explain to them that it is so common for them to contact viral illnesses when they're in school, simply because of the school environment, how they kind of play together. It is unavoidable, but it's part of the reason how they build up, their immunity to make them stronger in the later day.
So it's got a good side and a bad side,
Exactly,
basically?
yes.
So if I'm a parent and I have young children, like let's say the age of 5 or 6, and I know that that the friend of our child is sneezing and coughing, but he wants to come over and play, just come for a visit, and they can play together. Should I tell them don't come, or should I tell them just wait until you're better, or should I, because you said it helps their immunization, come and bring your brother too? What's the right thing to do?
I think it really depends on how you feel as a parent. So I would definitely say if you have young babies at home, you do not want that to come. Yeah. If you have, toddler or even older kids, even teenager at home, and you know that, okay, that kid is fine, just having a bit of cough and sneezing, okay, fine, I'm happy, then they are welcome to come. I'll be a little bit more cautious if the other kid is having a temperature. Because when they have a fever, it means that they are actually acutely unwell and potentially contagious. So as I say, at the end of the day, it's the parent's decision whether you want to invite a kid over or not. Yeah. I, as a mom, I probably would just say, let's arrange a play day later.
Okay. Well, I think that makes sense because you would also catch the virus if the child comes over. So it's not just child-to-child transmission. The child will also infect basically the whole family.
And from your experience, you probably know we adults get sicker if we get any viruses from the kids. They'll be running around with a temperature of 38.5 and we'll be in bed out of actions.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And is there a role for preventative measures, let's say, in the classroom?
So I think the important thing after the pandemic, everyone's been talking about is hand washing and desanitizing the hand. I think this is a very important thing that we really need to continue to do it. Yeah. So if possible, we always say washing your hand with soap is the best, and ideally for 20 seconds. Yeah. But again, we can understand that having 20 plus students lining up in the toilet trying to get them washed might not be the most realistic way of getting the class to go on. So having hand gel, hand spray that is alcohol based are probably good enough, unless it's obviously very dirty that they've been touching.
Yeah. Of course, if your hands are dirty, you have to wash them.
Yeah.
And when you wash them for preventative reasons, it's basically a different story because your hands are clean when you look at them. You're just washing it, to decrease. Is there something we can do, let's say, by increasing the children's health in general, like with food or maybe, going to bed early, or are there good advices to be given to?
When I mention what I'm going to say now, as a parent, you probably think in your head that these are a simple thing, but they are actually very important. So eat healthy and eat regularly. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they're very important. And regular exercise. So, sending your kids to PE classes, doing some after school running around in the park, that's perfect. And also sleep. So not only the duration of the sleep that I'm talking about, 8 to 10 hours sleep per night, but also the quality of the sleep. So as a reference, we recommend that children don't have any screen time 1.5 hours before they go sleep, simply because we really want their brain to rest. And that's how they recover from the stress during the day.
But does that help them, for instance, I mean, it doesn't prevent the virus from infecting them, but does it help them heal quicker, for instance? Well, what's the effect of these
So,
things?
first of all, it makes them healthier. So, if you have a healthy body, of course, the chances of you catching the virus and being infected by it is less. And also, this is if they're healthier, then the recovery time is shorter as well.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that's great. And I think for children, having regular meals is very important.
Yes, very
Like
important.
breakfast?
Breakfast, especially, is a highlight of the day. So we all understand that it's very chaotic in the morning with kids running around, but we never really expect the parents to do a full English breakfast. Just a simple toast, maybe a porridge, anything, just keep the child going. And also, it's just a nice time to be together, to start the day, have a little chat as a family bonding time. I think it's great.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
you're very right about that. And what should you give a young child like 7 or 8 years? I mean, I'm sure that the mothers mostly they pack something for lunch to give to the so that the child can have lunch at school, something from home. I think that's very good.
Yes.
What's a good lunch to give to a young child like 7 or 8 years old?
So we always talk about healthy, but it's a very vague term when I say pack healthy. Yeah. And so when at 7 years old, majority of the nutrition and calories should still come from what we call carbohydrate. So you still need to have, either, bread, rice, pasta, noodles as the proportion, the biggest proportion. And then on top of that, we would like to have protein. So depending on the eating culture of the family, whether this is from, vegetable source of protein or whether this is from meat source of proteins, that's good enough for us. And of course, at the end of the day, we want to introduce the most difficult kind of food, fiber. Anything green in color is good. So we just want to build up this kind of healthy eating to make sure the child has a strong, healthy body to protect themselves from having any viral infection or bacterial infections.
And you mentioned the carbohydrates. Now,
Yes.
at my age, people tend to try and avoid carbohydrates, reduce it. But this apparently is very important for
It
children.
is very important because carbohydrate to us is a complex sugar. So once they've eaten it, it basically maintains a very good level of sugar. Not only it help with the physical health, it also helped the child to concentrate and learn better in class.
Really? I never knew that. So how does that work? Why does the carbohydrate help them focus?
Because as I said earlier, because it's a complex sugar, so it takes longer for the body to digest, and then the sugar level maintains. Rather than having a simple sugar, for example, like a candy, you have a rush of the sugar,
Yes.
but 15, 20, 30 minutes later, then there will be a huge drop. It's the rise and then the drop of sugar that really affect the way our body process and the concentration. So that's why having a very steady background sugar level coming from the complex sugar, which is carbohydrate, is definitely a better way to keep your intake.
Yeah. When it comes to vaccinations, immunizations, there's a whole system for
Yes.
each age of children. And do you think it plays a role in this as well?
Definitely, yeah. So immunization is very important, and I'm sure every single pediatrician you visit, they will be asking you the same questions that have your child received all the immunization? Yeah. In Dubai, we have a very comprehensive and very good, immunization program, which is a blessing. Majority of the immunization actually done before they're 5 years of age. So by the time they turn into school age 5, what remains are the booster. Yeah, and a few booster would be, the diphtheria, tetanus, the pertussis, the polio, the MMR, and then the varicella, which is a chickenpox.
It's been such a pleasure talking to you. I think we've all learned a lot from you. And I think that you have benefited us, all the parents with the young children, preparing them for going back to school. And school is very important, of course, and doing it in the right way just helps that experience and that part of life, the education, to be much more effective. So I'm very thankful to you, and it was wonderful to have you here.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your time as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.